Welcome back, everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and let's select this in the well right here, the keyboard well. And what we'll do is we're going to go to subdivide. Now, don't make it too big. We just want kind of an approximation here, and you're going to see why in just a second here. I'm going to push E to extrude, and that way we can just kind of see that these keys are now raised. Now, maybe not too much, maybe something more like that. Okay. Now, this part might be a little bit tedious, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just E to extrude, and then I'm going to scale it in. Okay. And I'm going to push E to extrude, right click, scale it in. Now, the thing is like you're probably thinking, well, what happens if I do this? If I select all of these, push E to extrude, and then scale it in. The problem with that is that you can see that these vertices are now linked. What we want to do is unlink the vertices here. So I'm going to push E to extrude, scale it in. E to extrude, scale it in. Just a little bit here. Scale it in. E to extrude, scale it in. E to extrude, scale it in. E to extrude, scale it in. And you can see here that sometimes you might be able to find a way to make your life easier via the computer, because that's, after all, why we have computers. But sometimes you just have to do things manually. So E to extrude and scale it in. E to extrude, 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 scale it in. And one of the things, if you E to extrude, scale it in, one of the things that you'll know, especially if you do game development, there will be these tedious parts. And one thing that, especially if you're a hobbyist, this tedious part can sometimes ruin a project. And for me, it's almost been it almost has ruined many projects. It definitely has ruined my more indie projects when I first started out. And so there's a healthy little tip for you. Now, I know this is taking a long time, but again, it's good to get used to some tedious work. Too much tedious work is no good, but some tedious work is okay. So scale that in. Extrude, scale it in, E to extrude, scale it in. And I'm pushing the right mouse button, by the way. E to extrude, scale it in. Okay. Now what we need to do is select the middle parts of each one of these here. Just like that. And we'll just move this all up. Just like that. Okay. Just like this here. Now, again, unless you're going, so we'll just extrude that there, and you can see here that we have a nice little keyboard there. Now, some of these here, you can see that some of the keys were a little bit different here. Now, of course, I did that extremely quickly. If you want a little bit more precision, you can do that here. But then again, if I tab in object mode and move back, probably to see what you would normally see as a laptop here, you don't really notice here. Again, if this is something more for the background, if you're really trying to go and zoom up close like this, then you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to the size of everything. All right, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.